Welcome back. It is the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM, and it is time to look to the Northern Areas Footy Association with Spud McKay, our correspondent in this league, who is on the line with me right now. How are you going this week, Spud? Good to speak with you again.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Dan.
Very good. Well, let's get not straight into the action. We'll get to the round 9 games in just a moment. Before we do, 12 players from the Northern Areas Footy Association have been selected in the Northern Zone squad. So they're looking like being well represented. It's just the squad, not the final team just yet, but well represented nevertheless.
Yeah, and for the first time, Northeastern come into the Northern Zone, and that will help considerably there because I know they only had a couple of players in the zone. They were in there last year, Central Zone, so they were disappointed in that. They've got 11 or 12 players in the squad as well, so that will help out the Northern considerably. But for the Northern Zone, Northern Areas, we've got Shane Ballantyne from Southern Flinders in there, Will Hewitt, Kane Bowley, Calistria from Broughton Mundura. We've got Leo Coates, Braden Kirk, Will Coombe, Jackson Richmond from Crystal Brook. And we've got Luke Bowman, Darren Hughes, Aidan Lee from Orroroo. And the only representative from BMW is their coach, Alec Kanga, and he's a terrific player. So most of these players, you hear me talk about them just about every week, and that's why they're in that squad, is that they are consistently good and they give their best week in, week out.
All right, well done to all those selected. Good to see some of the stars of the organisation being recognised. And we'll circle back to that a little bit later in the year when the team is selected and hopefully some of those players make their way into the final team. But let's have a look at the round 9 games. Jamestown Peterborough, they did put a few goals on the board this week, but ultimately it was a sizable loss to Southern Flinders, 16-12, 108 to JP, 8-3, 57-point margin in the end.
Yeah, really good game up until half-time. Only about 8 points in at half-time. But then Jamestown Peterborough slipped away and Southern Flinders went up a rung or two. And, in the end, it probably looked worse than the score looks worse than what it probably was. It was a good game, and Southern Flinders were really happy to be able to get their second win on the board. So Jamestown Peterborough is still searching for their first.
All right, good win there for Southern Flinders. Let's get on to this massive clash between BMW and Orroroo. BMW 10-10-70 over Orroroo 9-8-62. Massive clash there between two of the powerhouses in the comp, and it comes after they played a very good game against each other earlier in the year as well.
Yeah, they probably at this stage you maybe think that's the grand final sides playing each other there, but there's a lot of the season left and things will change. I think BMW would be pretty happy. It was on their home ground, so they'd be happy to get away with that win and put themselves back on top of the table. But it's very little. Orroroo are only one win away, and then they're only one win above Crystal Brook. So it's just pretty interesting competition now and shaping up well.
It was BMW winning by 14 points last time they played. Interestingly, they scored 10-goal 10-70 in that round 4 matchup as well. So BMW looking good in that head-to-head matchup against Orroroo, and they are absolutely two of the powerhouses. But Crystal Brook have been hot on their tail, but it was a backward step for them this week. Broughton Mundura smashed them 17-15, 117 to 9-8-62.
Don't know what happened here. I did mention last week that they were going to play this match in the B grade time slot, which they did. And Broughton Mundura were out of the blocks. They had 5-1 on the board at quarter time, and Crystal Brook only had a couple of points. So don't think it had anything to do with that. But it certainly didn't help Crystal Brook by the early time slot. They'll be happy to go back into their normal one of 10-3. So. It was, and I think Broughton are gradually building momentum. Their coach, Tommy Whelan, he's in pretty good form now and leading by example. And Crystal Brook, though, they still had their normal players in Will Coombe was good for them, and Leo Coates. They are the ones that sort of helped them out. But Broughton Mundura far too good, and that was probably a bit of a surprise result, that one.
I did facetiously say to you last week they might be out of sorts, their body clock and their routine might be a bit wrong by playing at this different time slot, and I was being facetious, but maybe there was something in that. Probably not. It might have just been a bad day for the Brook, but no doubt they'll bounce back in round 10. So let's have a look at this weekend's games, and let's start off with Crystal Brook. They've got their work cut out for them travelling to Orroroo, but I would imagine they'll put up a better performance than they did last week.
Yeah, well, as I said, there is a fair bit on this game, and because Orroroo are only one win ahead of Crystal Brook, so if Crystal Brook were able to win this, suddenly they put the pressure on. Percentage is at this stage a little bit better than what Orroroo's is, so I think that Orroroo on their home ground have always been pretty hard to beat. Darren Hughes, Isaac Moller, Aidan Lee are their form players. They will lead by example again. And, of course, Crystal Brook have got the ones we've already spoken about in that zone squad, in Will Coombe, Jackson Richmond and Leo Coates. So should be a really good game, and maybe Orroroo up there just on their home ground.
Orroroo going along nicely, so that one should be a really good game. Jamestown Peterborough are hosting Broughton Mundura, now playing at home against the team that are sitting fourth on the ladder. What should Jamestown Peterborough's goal be, do you think, in this one? What do they need to do to continue edging closer to a win for this season?
Oh, look, I would have thought that you set the line of trying to get within 4 or 5 goals of them. You never know. If you lead a team at half-time, players do gain a bit more confidence and are able to finish off. But it will be really hard because Broughton Mundura are on a bit of a roll now, and they will be looking to continue that on into the finals. Callis Freer, Kane Bowley, Charlie Dickinson, William Hewitt are all in really good form for them. And for Jamestown Peterborough, Brock Grayson in the centre there is good or on baller. Max McKay, Henry Moore in the ruck, if they can sort of get their hands to the ball first in that ruck and give the on-ballers first use of the ball, that goes a long way. But I think it'll be a hard day for Jamestown Peterborough, but they always give their best, and they'll certainly do that tomorrow. All
right, that brings us to our last match of the round. It is the top of the table, BMW. They have got a big game against Southern Flinders.
Yeah, this one's at Melrose, and again, you would think that BMW, that they would go out and look to sort of have this game under control at half-time. If you can do that, then you're sort of able to sort of try a few different things out. Cody Wolford, Nick McCullum, Matt Fowlis in the back line are pretty good for them. And for Southern Flinders, they rely on, well, their top three are Matt Spenceley, Shane Ballantyne, Zeke Kay, and they're the experienced older players there. So they'll look to help out and with the younger ones. And I would think BMW would be too good overall in this match tomorrow.
All right, Spud, very good slate of games in the Northern Areas Footy Association this weekend. Good luck to everyone in action. Enjoy the action yourself, Spud. Thank you very much for joining us again this Friday, and I look forward to chatting with you again next week.
Thanks, Dan. We'll catch you next week.